Everybody knows the E-3 AWACS. Its strange appearance makes it an iconic aircraft. Its large radar is a very familiar sight. But how many do know that the aircraft is an essential communication node, connecting the aircraft in the theater with the command centers anywhere else in the world? How many could list from memory all the electronic-related variants of the humble C-12, like the MC-12W, for example? How many do really know anything about the U-28 Draco, whose job is to provide the essential radio and real-time video link between special forces in the field and command and control centers on the other side of the world? These capabilities are provided by the use of several different types of sensors and communication systems. Radars are the most familiar, but the radar imagery must become a digital record of the real-time air situation, and it must be disseminated to be processed and redistributed to be really useful. Synthetic aperture radar on board of aircraft and drones can do the same thing with the ground situation, often with resolutions that reach few centimeters. Moving target indicators filters can track the moving objects, painting a dynamic picture of the situation. Electro-optic and infrared sensors do provide imagery that can be processed either manually or automatically to extract meaningful information. Or SIGINT, or signal intelligence, is the capability of listening and interpreting electromagnetic emissions, either communications related, which is COMINT, or of other nature, in this case is called ELINT. The distinction between the two is somehow starting to blur today, but the concept still stands. All of them today are equipped with some sort of data link to exchange highly structured information in near real time. But once you have collected all these data, you're just at the beginning. The next step is turning these data into something useful for planners and combatants. That is, information. Reconnaissance and the information war for centuries were always considered an important aspect of the military art. Their importance, though, kept growing, and in modern days, ISR is a fundamental element of military operations and resource management. The reasons for this growth are simple: speed, range, and complexity. Modern assets can operate at high speed, and I mean not only physical speed. Targeting loops have become quicker. Systems can generate a high volume of lethal fire in a much shorter time. Precision weapons are not only fast, but also so effective to apply a lot of firepower very accurately and in a short time. And if everything moves fast on the battlefield, even more so in the air above it. This means that the old system of pointing something, firing a projectile to something else, is obsolete. To hit a fast-moving target, you need the information to intercept it. And this piece of information is usually more complex than, look, it's there. The modern battlefield is also huge. Assets and weapons range exceed any human ability to see and identify targets. In general, the farther is a target, the more difficult it is to detect it, identify it, and acquire the information to actively target it. The modern battlefield is also very complex because modern systems are more complex. The flip side of technological advance is complexity. And the flip side of specialization is complexity. The increase in the variety and complexity of the assets means also an increase of spares, different training, different procedures, different suppliers, different logistic chains, and every increase in this complexity is the harbinger of further complexity to manage this complexity. Maybe you didn't realize, but I'm talking about complexity. Command and logistics centers proliferate and increase the vulnerability of the organization, creating centers of gravity that, if destroyed, can cause a disproportionate damage. If you destroy the only two factories that overhaul your opponent's tube artillery, sooner or later, the opponent will run out of tube artillery. At least this is the theory that leads some air forces to think that they can win wars by themselves, but this is a different video.